Israel's increasing aggression is now an absolute threat that must be stopped for our region. It is a fact that the Netanyahu government's main goal is to continue the massacre and genocide in Palestine on the one hand, while dragging the entire region into instability without distinction on the other. We are facing a terrorist mentality that feeds on chaos and blood. This mentality, which openly violates UN resolutions and defies international law, remains unpunished for its crimes. Diplomatic efforts must be intensified and international law must be used to ensure that Israeli officials are held accountable before the courts.
Let's get analysis now with Suay Nilhan Acikalın. She's an Associate Professor of International Relations at Ankara Haji Bayram Veli University, and she's speaking to us from Istanbul. Suay, it's always good to have you on this news hour. What do you make of the comments that we've heard throughout this emergency summit? Of course, a lot of support for Qatar, and interestingly so, because Qatar is a country that is a mediator in all of this, as well as being a US ally.
Thank you very much. Actually, this meeting has been very important since just 2 weeks ago, the OIC has another extraordinary meeting in the Jeddah. So after that, the meeting, this happens just a response, of course, as the Israeli attacks. And it's clearly seen that the solidarity of the both OIC and the Arab League countries member gathered around the Doha. And one more important thing still, that when we are waiting for any concrete steps that will come from or not, the all leaders of the region is right now in the stage. And it's also pointed out that by the President Erdogan, we need to focus on to cooperate more on the defense sector and related sector. It should be the leverage against the Israel, and also we should put some pressure on the Israel as well.
Could that also then mean, with what President Erdogan said, that countries within the region should have more cooperation in possibly things like buying weapons from those countries that manufacture weapons, or form some sort of committee that can go to international bodies to talk about the situation in Gaza and Israel's ongoing aggression in the region?
Well, the last Israeli attack to Doha clearly also proved that every country needs its own national defense system. And that's why the President Erdogan clearly underlined that how it is important to cooperate, to have your own national defense sector ecosystem. On the other hand, it's a kind of the component to go to the international communities and the international courts that has been started by the South Africa is also very important to bring the Israeli aggression to the international court as a kind of the historical recording. So on those topics, both OIC countries and the Arab League countries need to cooperate more, because unfortunately until now we haven't seen a very much strong solidarity when it comes to the cooperation and any concrete steps.
Yeah, that is part of the bigger problem, isn't it? There is condemnation from so many countries, but we aren't seeing any practical steps like further sanctions or further political isolation, which also then brings into question the Abraham Accords. We were expecting to possibly hear from leaders from Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Morocco, who have normalized ties with Israel due to those accords, not Saudi Arabia, excuse me, but interestingly, we didn't actually hear from them. So where does that all stand going forward?
Since the first time of the Trump, when he tried to introduce the Abraham Accords, lots of has been changed. And after the 7th of October, the realization of the Abraham Accords seems to be much more harder for the regional actors. But right now, especially putting on the extra sanction and of course cut off the economic relation that has been giving example by the President Erdogan as well, as we did in Turkey. So I think it is not easy to talk about the further steps for the normalization within the Gulf countries and the Israeli through the Abraham Accords, or within any framework right now within the dynamics of the geopolitical realities. And after the last attack of Israel towards the Doha, Israel clearly says that if other countries who try to protect the Hamas or related members of the Hamas will be targeted for the Israel, so it it's a clear threat for not only to Qatar, but also for other countries in the region as well.
Suay Nilhan Acikalın, great to get your analysis as always. Thank you so much.